Good morning and welcome to today's devotion for Monday, January 6th, 2020. And now we're going to be in the book of Daniel. We finished with Ezekiel. We had a brief visit there in Isaiah yesterday. And today we're going to start up in the book of Daniel. And we're in Daniel chapter 1. And we're going to be reading verse 6 for the devotion. And today's devotion is titled, Daniel is Carried to Babylon. So Daniel 1, verse 6. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Daniel was an intelligent and dedicated young Hebrew man, but a sudden change happened in his life. Even though he was an exemplary young man, he was captured along with the rest of Jerusalem. Nevertheless, even after his capture by wicked King Nebuchadnezzar, he did not break the dietary laws of his culture given by God to Moses. He continued to worship the true and living God and kept praying to him. Daniel is a perfect example that bad things do happen to good people and how to respond when those things do happen. First, he did not forsake God. Sadly, the first response of some that face difficulties is to quit on God. But God never promised a life of ease for the believer. As a matter of fact, he warned us that they would come. Secondly, Daniel did not turn to the world for comfort during this trying time in his life. Jesus tells us to come to him with our heavy burdens in Matthew 11:28. In Hebrews 13:5, Paul encourages us with an Old Testament promise made by God. It is this: I will never leave thee nor forsake thee, even when trials and tests occur. Thirdly, throughout his captivity, Daniel never stopped praying. As a matter of fact, he prayed 3 times a day. We must remember that prayer is important for our spiritual maintenance and growth. Paul admonishes us to rejoice in hope, patience in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. That comes from Romans 12:12. In the New Testament, there are 31 verses that remind us to pray, or keep praying, and seeking God's will for our life. And our final thought comes to us from Romans 8:28. We know that all things work together for good of those who love God. I want to read that final thought verse one more time. Romans 8:28. It says, we know that all things work together for good of those who love God. It doesn't say some things work together for good, a few things. No, all things. That includes bad things. So whenever something good happens in your life, we should rejoice and be thankful and give praise and glory to God. But what do you do when bad things happen in your life? Is that evidence that God doesn't care anymore? Is that evidence that God is punishing you in some way? No. The Bible clearly states that a persecuted life is to be expected of a Christian. When bad things happen, just remember this. When you got saved, a huge bullseye was placed on you for Satan to aim at. Before you were saved, Satan didn't mess with you too much. Why? Because he already had you. You were already within his grasp. You were lost and not going to heaven when you died. So Satan had you at that point. So he left you alone. He had other fish to fry, so to speak. He had bigger fish. But the minute you got saved and became a child of God, suddenly Satan's like, uh-oh, I'm losing that person. So he's going to fight back for you. He's going to attack. He's going to try to make your life miserable because you chose to leave him and follow the Lord. So we are to expect these trials and tribulations. And the fact that bad things do happen to you is evidence that you're on the right side. If you get punished for doing the right thing, that means you're really doing the right thing in the Lord's eyes. And the Lord's looking down and smiling on you for it. And that's, to me, that's a boost of confidence. Saying, I'm suffering because I'm doing the right thing. And that's evidence that you are doing the right thing. So just remember, God has the ability to take a good situation and make it better. But God also has the ability to take a bad situation and turn it around and make it work for His good, which inevitably will trickle down to us and be in our best interest. It's like when you're raising children and you tell them no, and you punish your child for any specific reason. They don't understand the big picture, but you as the parent, you understand that by disciplining them or saying no to them or causing them a trial or tribulation, it's in their best interest. And in the long run, they'll be better off for it. So when bad things happen in your life, turn to God and don't necessarily thank Him for the bad things, but be thankful in the bad times. Take those bad times and say, Lord, I'm thankful that you're a part of this with me. Teach me the lessons I'm to learn and help me learn to apply this lesson to my life, that I'll be a better person and that I'll be able to share that with others, that they may benefit from it as well. So remember, all things work together for good of those who love God. So if you love God, you have nothing to worry about. Good times, bad times, it's all good because God's in control. So I hope this devotion's been a blessing to you, and I hope that you can take these lessons out into the world with you today. Talk to you later. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.